The U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an order labeling the left-wing Antifa movement a domestic terrorist group. And this after the killing of Trump's ally, Charlie Kirk. Of course, to understand more, my colleague Shivan Chanana is just joining us live. Shivan, thank you so much for joining us. If you could just quickly make us understand what is this new order and what is Antifa to start off with?
Yeah, exactly. Antifa, it's Antifa. That's short for anti-fascist. And it's a decentralized leftist movement. It opposes far-right, racist and fascist groups. And it has long been a top target of Trump and other Republicans. So whenever Trump is blaming the left, he's essentially referring to Antifa and the ideology, the radical left as he calls them. Now, this move follows the killing of Trump ally, conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was shot in Utah, for which Trump blamed the radical left. A direct link between Antifa and Kirk, well, that hasn't really been established as such, but he blames the radical left. In fact, Trump has wanted to designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, not from now, but, even during his first term, during the George Floyd protests in 2020, if you remember the Black Lives Matter protests. Since then, this has been one of his agendas, and Antifa rose to prominence following Trump's first election victory in 2016. They've existed in the U.S. for decades, but in 2016 is when they actually started coming into prominence, and the far-right rally in Charlottesville in 2017, that's where various anti-fascist groups, they started to come together. But coming to where things stand now, as of now, the executive order has been passed by the U.S. president. Antifa is the newest domestic terrorist group in the U.S.
Right. And of course, there are concerns and questions being raised against this executive order as well. Please tell us more on that.
Josna, the concerns are coming because Antifa, it is not an organization. It doesn't have a designated office or a designated leader. There is no hierarchy. There is no point person. It does not have a specific face. It is an ideology. So anyone subscribing to that ideology can be deemed an Antifa proponent. And with this new executive order, does that even make the person a terrorist or a domestic terrorist? Now, it is viewed as an anti-white supremacy ideology by most experts. So as an ideology to express ideas, it should enjoy the First Amendment free speech protection under the US Constitution. And that's where this executive order by Trump raises so many questions, as it's also being seen as a crackdown on free speech, and it should be protected in the US. But of course, then there are incidents of extreme violence and shootings which emerge from this ideology. Of course, those attract punitive actions then.
So you've also mentioned that there is no hierarchy as such in this whole movement. So how is the Antifa movement structured then?
As per what reports suggest, now it's a loose collection of local groups. There's no one big body, they're local groups, small bodies, and these are independent of one another. They might just share plans and they might share resources and their tactics, but it could happen in person or through encrypted messaging apps. They reportedly usually also have informal groups of anywhere between 3 and 8 people. And they, of course, those groups are among people who trust and know each other very well. And they come together during these protests. Activists, they often wear black and they cover their faces, according to the CSIS report. This is what, is as much as what is known about how Antifa really functions. So it's, as I mentioned, it's a decentralized body. It's an ideology. So how do you pinpoint it and how do you put punitive actions on it? That remains to be seen.
Absolutely. Of course, as you mentioned, since there's no structure, it's of course to see how this whole order will take place and it goes. But thank you so much for joining and telling us all the details.